Our next guest is Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, who won the Super Bowl as a starting right guard for Kansas City. And what happened next was a whirlwind. February the 5th, there's the parade in Kansas City. February the 9th, the parade in Montreal, just for him. February the 28th, this isn't terrible, set sail on the yacht in the Caribbean. Returned early in March. On the 12th, the day sports stopped, and immediately entered quarantine. Since late April, Tardif, who is a doctor, has been on the front lines of the battle to fight the coronavirus, and he joins us now. And Laurent, I've always been fascinated by your story, but never more so than now, given what is not asked of you, but what you volunteered to do. Help me understand what you're doing on a daily basis.
Well, right now I'm in Montreal, Canada. I work in a long-term care facility. I'm working quote unquote as an orderly. I'm doing also some nursing tasks. Most of my job right now is basically to handle medication on a day-to-day basis to patients. And, I cannot really work as a doctor now because I'm kind of in a gray zone. I haven't done my residency training yet. Right now I'm doing everything I can to contribute. And the best way I can do that is as a nurse / orderly, and just basically to help whatever help is needed.
I read the story. It was a first-person account in Sports Illustrated in late April about this. And it's, as I read it, I'm struck by the fact that my family, at the exact same time you were, we were in Disney, of all places, right? And thousands and thousands of people. And I can recall thinking with my wife, I mean, are we taking too much of a risk and whatever else? But things change so quickly. And are you able to take yourself back in your mind to where we were and how quickly it changed, given what you understand about things as a doctor that maybe we wouldn't?
Well, you know what's crazy? Like, the first time I actually heard about the coronavirus was like the Super Bowl. I think it was the Thursday before the game. A reporter asked me, like, as an MD, what do you think about what's going on in China? And I was like, oh, this is so far away. I'm about to play the biggest game of my life. And, 10 weeks later, the whole picture totally changed. At that point, I kind of felt, you know what, I have a background in medicine. I want to contribute. I want to be part of the solution. I want to do something. And you kind of like volunteer, and you're like, yes, I want to help. I want to go back into those long-term care facility where, there's a lot of cases and stuff like that. But it's only when you actually get the letter saying, okay, you're starting tomorrow, that you start thinking about, like, okay, what does that mean for me in terms of risk? What does it mean for my girlfriend? Am I still going to go back home? Am I still going to sleep with her? What does it mean, for my contract with the Chiefs? And the Chiefs have been amazing. I texted Coach Reed and I was like, Coach, I'm planning on going back to help. And he was like, do what you got to do. And their support from the organization has just been awesome. But I feel like it's really when you have your first day orientation that you realize, like, all the risk and everything that you're taking.
You didn't have to do this. You felt called, which I think those in your profession do. And yet I read where you kind of compared to the nerves of a game. And obviously there are butterflies and emotions that you feel there that we won't know, and we won't know what it is to feel this. So how do you describe that? The feelings of the nerves that will be understandable given what you're walking into.
Yeah, on a day-to-day basis, you just try to do your best. But at the end of the day, all those little things and all those disease, all those extra measures that you got to take, they kind of like ended up taking an emotional toll on you, and it's like I said, it's really a challenging time. And to transition from working at the long-term care facility and then the next day being on an iPad doing a virtual workout with the Chiefs or a virtual like film session, it's the mindset is so different. It's like two different realities. So for me right now, I think the biggest challenge is to like come here, do the best you can, and then go back home, eat a good meal, and then working out, and then staying in shape, and staying positive about, that vision of going back on the field in Kansas City, playing with your teammate, playing the sport you love. And the contrast is just so intense right now that sometimes, like I said, it's taking an emotional toll on what you're doing.
How do you do it? How do you turn your mind off from what you see and deal with all these long hours, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, we got to figure out what we do when I got to worry about the A gap. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, no, you're right. That's exactly it. We're breaking down film, trying to like understand what we did well last year and what we want to accomplish next year. And the transition is so hard. But for me, I think it comes down to training. When you work out, when you push yourself, when you're doing some cardio, some sprinting, it just helped me like kind of flush my day and just restart my new profession as a professional athlete. And Yeah, I think throughout medical school and for the past, 6 years, that's what I've been doing. Every time we're done with a football season, within a week or so, I'm back in Montreal starting a rotation in OBGYN and psychiatry and internal medicine. So I'm kind of used to that transition, but now I feel like it's on a day-to-day basis. You got to go from football to medicine and then back to football.
I admire the hell out of you to begin with, but you've got a smile on your face. I don't know how you avoid being overwhelmed. What do you do with it? Who do you share it with? How do you bottle it up? What's the process like to keep your mind sort of level, so to speak?
I think you got to find a lot of hope in all those little positive things that happen. Everything is kind of hard and negative, but every time you're able to do a little something positive, I think you really got to feed off of that. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not here as a superhero. I'm not here as a doctor. I'm here to help. And I'm not the only one who raised his hand and came back to those long-term facilities. There's a lot of people who did, whether it's nurses, retired doctor, all those people are coming back to help. And I think in those moments of crisis, you cannot just, see the negative and complain. You got to be proactive. You got to, find your energy into those little things. 2 days ago, I took my phone and I Skyped with a patient's family, and that patient hasn't seen his family for the past 3 months, and that moment is super emotional. Everybody's crying on the phone, and it's it's crying, but at the same time, it's happiness, it's hope, and you got to feed from that.
What you do and what you've chosen to do, I couldn't have more admiration for what you've done and all of the people. Please share with the folks there just how much people around the world admire what it is you all are doing to try to help and what you're doing for these families. It is remarkable. And Laurent, stay safe. And we look forward to cheering for you on the football field. But, man, I'm cheering for you right now. Well done, sir. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.